Welcome to Curiosity Compass, the channel where curiosity knows no bounds. Get ready to explore the wonders of mysteries, facts, and endless discoveries. Step into the mysteries of ancient wonders, where every carving tells a story waiting to be uncovered. To our incredible Curiosity Compass family, thank you for being part of our journey. Your support and curiosity inspire us to keep exploring the unknown. We couldn't do this without you. Let's continue navigating the wonders of the world together. Are you ready to embark on a journey of curiosity and discovery? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to join the adventure.
All right, so we're diving deep into urban legends today.
Ooh, spooky.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've got a ton of cool stuff to dig into, like academic papers, podcast descriptions, even news articles.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We're going to figure out not just what these stories are, but like why they stick around, why they reflect what we're all kind of scared of,
Yeah.
and what it says about how we think as people.
That's fascinating, yeah. And it's interesting because urban legends often come from real historical events.
Really?
Yeah, GZR News Desk talks about that.
Oh, cool.
They change over time, too. Like, they adapt to whatever's going on and new technology and stuff.
Huh. Like they're evolving.
Exactly. It's like they're alive, these stories, shaped by whatever each generation is freaking out about.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Living, breathing narratives.
Exactly.
And a lot of them are about pretty basic fears, right? Like alligators in the sewers,
Yeah.
Bloody Mary, those creepy black-eyed children.
Yeah, those are creepy.
I know, right? And like Psychology Today actually says urban legends are unverified stories, usually kind of bizarre, that spread as warnings or like cautionary tales.
Ah, so they're like a guide.
Yeah, like a social survival guide told through whispers and campfire stories and stuff.
I love that. And those stories, they're often like a way to keep everyone in line,
What do you mean?
Like they reinforce the rules of society and warn people about breaking them.
Oh, interesting.
Psychology Today even mentions that some people who spread these legends, they might be using fear on purpose.
Using fear.
Yeah, like saying, if you don't retell this story, something bad will happen.
Whoa, that's messed up.
I know, right? But it makes sense in a way, like a way to make sure the story keeps going, even before the internet.
Wow, that's kind of manipulative, isn't it?
Oh.
But I guess it works because those stories really stick with you.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of how our brains work, Psychology Today also talks about something called reality testing deficits. What's that all about?
Well, it's about how your brain figures out what's real and what's not.
Okay.
And for some people, that line is kind of blurry, so it's easier to mix fantasy and reality.
So it's not about being gullible.
No, not exactly. It's more like their brains just process information a little differently.
So it's not about how smart they are or how much they know.
Nope.
It's like how their brain is wired.
Right, exactly.
That's really interesting. It makes me think about all those people who swear they've seen something weird, even if there's no proof.
Yeah.
Maybe their brains are just like seeing things differently.
It could be. And there's this research from Frontiers that adds to that idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it says people who believe in urban legends, they might trust personal experience more than like actual evidence.
Even if there's no proof.
Yeah, a story from someone they trust or even like a crazy experience they had, that means more to them than any science stuff.
So it's that whole I know what I saw thing,
Exactly.
even if what they saw doesn't make sense.
Right, and that shows how powerful personal experiences can be in shaping what people believe, even more than facts sometimes.
That's wild. It's like this tension between what you've experienced and what's actually true.
Yeah. And urban legends kind of live right in the middle of that.
Wow, this is giving me a whole new way of thinking about those sleepovers where we tell ghost stories
Oh, yeah.
and dare each other to look in the mirror at midnight.
Classic.
It was like this deep human need to believe, even if it didn't make sense. But Psychology Today also said there are different types of urban legends, right?
Yes.
They talked about research from the British Journal of Psychology, social, survival, and combined types. What's the difference?
So social type legends, they're all about like the rules of society.
Okay.
They warn you about what happens if you break them.
Ah, like the babysitter who gets prank calls from inside the house.
Yes, exactly like that.
And it turns out it's the killer hiding upstairs.
Yep. It's a warning to be careful and follow the rules, or else.
Right, that makes sense. So what about survival types?
Those are all about staying safe from, well, danger. They often involve threats, like physical threats, to make you more aware.
It's like the razor blades in Halloween candy.
Yes. Or spiders hiding in your shoes, things like that.
Things that make you think twice.
Exactly. They tap into our instinct to survive and remind us that the world can be a dangerous place.
Right, got it. And then combined types are both.
Exactly. They mix social rules with personal danger.
So breaking the rules and facing some kind of threat.
Yeah, which makes them super memorable.
It's like they're hitting all our fear buttons at once. No wonder those stick with us.
Right.
But they also found that people remember social and combined type legends better than just the survival ones.
That's interesting.
Why do you think that is?
Well, remember how we talked about some people trusting their experiences more than facts?
Yeah.
And how social legends tap into our worries about fitting in? It's like when you add danger to that with the combined type, it makes the story even stickier.
So it's not just fear of getting hurt, but also the fear of not belonging, of being different.
Exactly. Urban legends are more than spooky stories. They show us what we're all afraid of deep down.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
But how does the internet fit into all this?
Oh, that's a big one.
I mean, we have podcasts now, like Digital Folklore, all about online culture and how it's like the new folklore.
Right. And GZR News Desk actually talks about how the internet has completely changed how these stories spread.
How so?
Well, before, stories would slowly travel from person to person.
Yeah.
Limited by, like, where you lived and who you knew.
Right.
But now, boom. Social media, online forums, a story can go viral in minutes.
To, like, the whole world.
Exactly. This means stories can change quickly, leading to new versions of old legends and even brand new ones.
So the internet's like this giant echo chamber for our fears.
In a way, yeah. It amplifies our fascination with the unknown.
Which brings us to, like, the fun side of urban legends. Like how the Ghost Brothers podcast uses them for entertainment.
Oh, yeah, they investigate stuff like Bloody Mary and the Chupacabra, but they make it funny.
I love that.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to laugh a little.
Yeah, it's a cool way to be curious about the unknown, but not take it too seriously.
And honestly, who hasn't tried summoning Bloody Mary as a kid? Or swapped scary stories at a sleepover?
Right. It's like a shared experience, connecting us back to those childhood chills.
Exactly. But beyond the scares, what do you think keeps us so interested in these stories, even now, with all the information we have at our fingertips?
That's a great question. I think it's because urban legends remind us that there are still mysteries out there.
Mysteries.
Yeah, things we can't explain or control.
Even with all our technology.
Especially with all our technology. It's like a reminder that the world is still full of wonder and, like, a little bit of fear.
Wow. So we've talked about why people believe these stories, how the internet spreads them, and how they're used for fun. What else is there to explore?
Well, let's think about this. Urban legends are always changing, right? They reflect what people are worried about at the time.
Yeah.
So if these stories are like a mirror to our fears, what do today's urban legends say about where we're headed as a society?
Ooh, that's a good question. Like, if the Hook Man was a product of the 1950s, what do today's monsters say about us? What do all those creepy internet stories tell us about what's going on right now?
Exactly. And what does the fact that these stories spread so quickly online tell us about how we get our information these days? Maybe the real urban legend is how technology is messing with our minds, blurring what's real and what's not, and creating new ways for fear to spread.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. I think we've given our listeners plenty to ponder today. From scary creatures in the sewer to the digital whispers of the internet, we've really explored the strange and fascinating world of urban legends.
And remember, the next time you hear a spooky story, don't just brush it off.
Yeah.
Think about why it's being told. What does it say about our fears, our values, and how we see the world?
Wise words. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of urban legends. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and maybe sleep with the lights on,
Yeah,
just in case.
you never know what might be lurking in the shadows.
True, true. Both in the real world and in the dark corners of the internet.
Well, urban legends, they're like stories. And people, we've been telling stories forever, like since the beginning of time.
Right, for sure.
It's how we figure out the world, how we pass on knowledge, warnings, and stuff.
Yeah.
And how we connect with each other, like on an emotional level.
Makes sense.
Urban legends, they tap right into that, our need to tell stories, to explain the stuff we can't explain, and share experiences that freak us out or fascinate us.
So you're saying urban legends are kind of like modern day myths?
Yeah, kinda. They do similar things, like offering explanations for the unknown,
Okay.
providing those like cautionary tales,
Right.
and reflecting what our culture values and is scared of at the time.
Like Just like those old myths warned about, like being too arrogant or curious.
Yeah, exactly.
Urban legends kind of show us what we're worried about now.
Exactly. Whether it's like technology freaking us out, feeling alone, or not trusting people in charge.
That's a cool way to think about it.
Right. It's like these stories, the old ones and the new ones, show how humans try to find meaning in all the chaos.
Yeah, to make sense of it all.
Yeah, and to help us deal with all the complicated stuff in life, the things that scare us or make us curious.
I like that. So, we've been talking a lot about why people believe these legends and how they affect our culture. But what about the storytelling itself?
Oh, good point. Urban legends, at their heart, are stories.
True.
And we, as humans, we're storytellers. It's in our nature.
Yeah, okay.
It's how we make sense of things, pass down knowledge and warnings, and connect with each other.
So you're saying urban legends are like modern day mythology?
Yeah, kinda. Like those old myths. They
Yeah.
explain stuff, warn us, and show what we're all about.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like Pandora's box warned about curiosity back then. And now we have the Hook Man warning us about being alone in the dark.
Exactly. Both using stories to teach us something.
It's crazy how those stories, old and new, still mean something to us today.
Right. It shows you how powerful storytelling is.
Yeah.
Those stories stick with us because they, like, touch something deep inside us, you know? Our worries, our fascination with what we don't know, and our need to find meaning in a world that can feel pretty crazy sometimes.
Okay, so we've gone from why people believe these tales to how the internet spreads them like wildfire. We even talked about pop culture using them for chills and giggles. What's next?
Well, think about this. Urban legends are always changing, right?
Yeah, they're like evolving.
Exactly. And they show what people are freaking out about at the time.
Okay.
So if these legends are like a mirror showing us our fears and values, what do today's urban legends tell us about where we're going?
Ooh, that's a good one. Like if the Hook Man was from the 1950s, what do today's monsters say about us?
Right. What do all those creepy internet stories tell us about what's happening in our world right now?
That's deep.
And think about it, those stories spread so fast online.
Yeah, crazy fast.
What does that say about how we get our information these days? Maybe the real urban legend is how technology is changing our culture and what we believe, blurring what's real and what's fake, and creating new ways for fear to spread.
Whoa, mind blown. That's a lot to think about. I think we've given our listeners plenty to chew on today. From creepy crawlies in the sewer to the digital whispers of the internet, we've really dug into the strange and captivating world of urban legends.
And remember, next time you hear a weird story, don't just ignore it. Think about why it's being told. What fears or anxieties is it showing? What does it tell us about the person telling it? And about our society as a whole?
That's a good point. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into urban legends. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and maybe sleep with the lights on, just in case.
You never know what might be lurking in the shadows.
True, true. Both in the real world and in the dark corners of the internet. It really is amazing how those stories, like the old myths and the modern ones, they still kind of get to us, even after all this time.
It's true. It's like they tap into something, you know, deep down, a part of us that likes to be scared and curious all at once.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like a safe way to get those chills, right?
Exactly. But it also makes you think about, like, the flip side of that fascination. We've seen how people can use urban legends to trick others or spread fake news, especially now with social media and everything.
Oh, for sure. So how do we enjoy those stories, but still, be smart about it?
That's a really important question, and it's even more important in the digital world with all the information flying around.
Right?
We need to get better at figuring out what's true and what's not, like develop that critical thinking muscle.
So be careful about what we see online.
Exactly. Just because a story is popular or makes you feel something doesn't mean it's true.
Right, you gotta be smart about it.
Yeah, it's all about finding that balance, you know? Enjoying the mystery and the thrill, but still keeping your feet on the ground.
Use your head, even when you're getting spooked.
Exactly. That's a skill we all need now more than ever.
This deep dive has been a wild ride. We've gone from alligators in the sewers to the psychology of believing, how the internet's like a super spreader for these stories, and even how they're like a modern day mythology.
It's amazing, isn't it, how they just keep popping up, changing with the times.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
That's the cool part. Urban legends, they're always changing, reflecting what each generation is afraid of and interested in.
They're like a window into our culture,
Exactly.
Well, I don't know about you, but I kind of want to go read some creepypastas online now.
Oh, yeah.
Or watch a spooky documentary, This deep dive definitely got me in the mood.
And remember, the next time you hear a strange story, don't just dismiss it.
Yeah.
Think about why someone is telling you that story.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah. What fears is it showing? What does it say about the person telling it and about all of us?
Great advice. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of urban legends. Until next time, stay curious, stay skeptical, and maybe, sleep with the lights on, just in case.
You never know what might be lurking in the shadows, out there in the world or in the dark corners of the internet.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for listening to this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.